Bill O'Reilly here. It is Monday, June 17th, 2019. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update. And here's what's happening today in America. President Trump officially unveiling his 2020 campaign this week. The United Kingdom and the USA sending additional troops to the Middle East to counter Iran's growing threat. A record number of African migrants crossing illegally into the USA. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez sounding off against Speaker Pelosi. French clerics wearing hard hats during Notre Dame Cathedral's first mass following the devastating fire. Also coming up, my message of the day on reparations for slavery. But first, the news. President Trump will officially start his 2020 re-election campaign Tuesday, delivering a major speech in Florida after raising more than $40 million in recent months. The commander-in-chief will speak before 25,000 supporters in Orlando, where he will promise to, quote, keep America great, unquote. The USA and the United Kingdom will deploy additional forces to the Middle East after American officials blame Iran for an attack on 2 oil tankers in the Gulf of Oman. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo calls the incident a, quote, blatant assault, accusing Tehran of causing chaos in the international energy markets. Tankers were hit with mines. To the border, where federal agents say a major influx of illegal immigrants from Central African nations, like the Congo and Angola, are overwhelming local officials in San Antonio, Texas. More than 500 migrants from Africa entered the city in recent weeks, prompting a search for French translators. New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez not thrilled with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's moderate positions, saying progressive lawmakers have a, quote, very real animus towards the top Democrat. The far-left legislator was speaking with ABC News when she called out Pelosi for her, quote, reluctance to move forward on impeaching President Trump. To France, where a handful of priests said Mass at Paris's Notre Dame Cathedral for the first time since a devastating fire nearly destroyed the ancient landmark. Clergy and construction workers wore hard hats and respirators as vast sections of the church remain extremely unstable. Coming up, my message of the day: should the U.S. government pay reparations to black citizens for slavery? Right back. Everyone has heard of AARP. You may even be a member. What many do not realize is that AARP has become a liberal lobbying group that spends your hard-earned dollars lobbying against things you may believe in and stand for. Thankfully, there is now a conservative alternative, an organization that believes in the sanctity of the Constitution and stands up for the values that make America great. It's called AMAC, A-M-A-C. AMAC, founded by Air Force veteran Dan Weber. For less than $20 a year, an AMAC membership gives you members-only pricing on car insurance, roadside assistance, discounts on hotels, travel, cell phone plans, and much more. Your AMAC membership dollars support the ideals that you may believe in, like protecting our borders with immigration reform, getting rid of Obamacare, and fixing Social Security. So please join more than 1 million fellow Americans right now at amac.us. And yes, I am a member. Please visit amac.us. That's amac.us. Here is the O'Reilly Update message of the day. Should the U.S. government pay reparations for slavery? Among African Americans, Kaiser Foundation CNN poll found 52% view reparations as a, quote, way to make up for the harm of slavery. An Amaris poll found 58% of black Americans support reparations. Those are cash payments. But for white Americans, only 8% support payments to African Americans to compensate for historical injustice. Now, I sympathize with reparations because my ancestors in Ireland, County Cavan, lost their land when the British seized it during the famine of the 1840s. My family were farmers. They could not pay the onerous taxes the British government put on the land. So the Brits threw them off the land. My great-great-great-grandfather died of a heart attack during the process. His widow had two 16-year-old boys, twins, and she could not feed them. So she took them to Galway. They got on a coffin ship, and they sailed to Brooklyn, New York. On board, the boys paid their passage by throwing dead people over the side into the ocean. That's why they call the vessels coffin ships. My family never regained the land that was taken from them in Ireland, and for centuries held grudges. Still to this day, many Irish people do not like the English government. However, I never demanded, nor did many Irish, any reparations from London. It was a historical atrocity. Unfortunately, most groups in the world experience this. Most people have been oppressed. That is not a rationalization. That is not a justification. That is the truth. Now, in America, if the U.S. government were to pay billions of dollars to African Americans, that would be divisive. The reason is that white taxpayers today have nothing to do with slavery in the 19th century. Yes, whites have had it easier in America. There is no doubt about that. But the government over the decades has tried to institute programs to help African American people. Some of those programs have been beneficial, some have not. You must ask yourself, what good would tax payments to one segment, 14% of the American population, do? Yes, maybe some people would use the money wisely, but others would not. And it would be a tremendously divisive issue. Whites lost ancestors fighting the Civil War. They were killed trying to free the slaves. Should they get reparations? It is a historical fact that no country on earth is blameless. All countries have done bad things. In America, we are trying to level the playing field for everyone. We have to try harder, but that is the solution, not reparations. And by the way, they will not happen. For more news and commentary, please head on over to BillO'Reilly.com, where you can check out the No Spin News every night, and you can see me right back. It's an uncertain world out there, you know that. Disaster can strike at any time. So you need to be prepared to protect yourself and your family. One way to do that is with freeze-dried food. It tastes good. It's healthy. Can be stored for 25 years. That's why I'm happy to tell you about a company I recommend, Wise Foods. I have experience with them myself. During Superstorm Sandy, I lost power for 7 days. All of my refrigerated food done. But my food supply from Wise Foods was as fresh as the day I received it. Visit Wise Food Storage, one word, wisefoodstorage.com/Bill, and explore their starter kits and long-term emergency food options. They are even offering free shipping plus a big discount of 25% off for my listeners. So please go to wisefoodstorage.com/Bill, wisefoodstorage.com/Bill, or you can call 855-269-0501. That's 855-269-0501. Now, the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. The Church of England announced this week a controversial change in decades-old policy that would allow the official religion of the United Kingdom to invest £8 billion, about $10 billion, into the medical marijuana industry. Members of the church eased restrictions surrounding investment in the cannabis industry after the country decided to legalize medical marijuana in November 2018. Prior rules prohibited the institution from investing in so-called sin stocks, defined as any business that makes more than 10% of its profits from immoral activities, that's a quote from the Church of England, like gambling, tobacco, or pornography. The church's decision, while controversial, poses a similar dilemma facing the United States. Is it acceptable to cash in on the $150 billion marijuana industry. Medical pot and recreational marijuana are often distributed by the same companies. Many Americans, some of them left-wing, some of them celebrities, some of them younger, certainly think there's no problem with getting rich off getting high. So invest. I personally would not do that. I do not invest in tobacco companies or any company that I believe influences the American people in a negative way. But many in the pro-pot lobby refuse to acknowledge the major social problems caused by legalization. Advocates claim legalization will advance, quote, social justice by empowering minority-owned businesses to profit off pot. But Colorado's Department of Revenue confirms most cannabis businesses are owned by the big tobacco companies. Supporters also say local communities will see a boost in tax revenue. But analysts from the Centennial Institute report people residing in states with recreational marijuana pay $4.50 in social costs for every buck they make in new taxes off pot. Marijuana already becoming a major issue in 2020. At this point, every single Democratic candidate has expressed support for legalizing pot, but they do not address the real costs associated with it. We'll be right back. I have been telling you about a first-time buyer in Texas. Now I want to show you the other side. A seller who found an agent on realestateagentsitrust.com. A home seller in a very hot market needed to relocate quickly. Their agent suggested the following steps. 1. Price the home just below similarly priced homes in the area to ensure high demand with multiple offers. 2. Stage the home so that it stood out with great pictures, no clutter, and great curb appeal. 3. Market aggressively to fellow agents, providing a timeline for accepting offers. This created a big sense of urgency for buyers interested in the home. 4. Their agent reviewed the offers quickly, communicated with the owners about the caliber of the offers, strong financing, cash, closing date, so many factors to consider. And 5, after just 3 days on the market, the sellers got 5% over their asking price, and the buyer agreed to pay closing costs. This is why you need a great agent from realestateagentsitrust.com. Get the job done. Get moving. realestateagentsitrust.com. That's realestateagentsitrust.com. Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.